Believe it or not, the most exciting move in basketball was once illegal. When Dr. James Naismith invented the game in 1891, his original 13 rules made no mention of dribbling. The idea was simple: pass the ball to your teammate and try to get it into a peach basket. Movement with the ball was limited to taking just a few steps and bouncing it. That was considered a loophole, not a strategy. In those early days, basketball looked like a hybrid of rugby and soccer. Players shuffled awkwardly around the court, passing in tight, structured patterns. There was no space, no rhythm, no style, just rigid execution. But players, as always, found a way to innovate. Some began bouncing the ball once, twice, then more, experimenting with what would later be called the dribble. Coaches and referees were skeptical. Commentators scoffed. The purists believed the game should be controlled, predictable, and team-oriented. Dribbling in their eyes was reckless, showy, and dangerous. But it was also exciting. By the 1910s, college players were regularly bouncing the ball, and slowly, the rule books caught up. Dribbling became legal, but still restricted. You couldn't shoot off a dribble until 1927. Even then, it was more of a nuisance tactic than a skill. Then came the 1940s and 50s. Enter Bob Cousy, the first true ball handler in the modern sense. He wasn't just dribbling to advance the ball. He was manipulating defenders, changing pace, using his handle to control the game, not just participate in it. At a time when most players stuck to rigid patterns, Cousy was spinning, hesitating, crossing over, going behind the back. His moves looked foreign, unorthodox, even disrespectful. But he won, he entertained, and most importantly, he inspired. Kids watching Cousy on black and white TVs began mimicking his movements in driveways and school gyms. Suddenly, dribbling wasn't just about movement, it was about expression. It was no longer a means to an end, it was a craft. If Bob Cousy introduced flavor to the game, then the streets turned it into a full-course meal. While the NBA slowly embraced dribbling as a technical skill, the real creativity was bubbling far from the cameras and the parks, cages, and backcourts of America's inner cities. New York, Chicago, DC, in these concrete jungles, basketball wasn't just a game. It was survival, it was respect, it was identity. And at the center of it all was the handle. Out here, dribbling wasn't taught, it was inherited, passed down from older brothers, neighborhood kings, and streetball legends. Moves weren't diagrammed, they were created, tested, and perfected in the fire of one-on-one battles. This is where the crossover became a weapon. The spin move became a trademark. The double behind the back became a signature. You weren't just trying to score, you were trying to break ankles. You wanted the crowd to scream, the defenders to fall, the game to stop for a second just to acknowledge your genius. And nobody embodied this more than rapper Skip to My Lou Alston. Skip was a street ball god. His dribbling defied physics. Ball fakes, hesitations, spins, raps. He danced with the ball like it was a part of him. He didn't just dribble past people, he humiliated them. And he did it with swagger. When And One mixtape started capturing these moments on VHS, everything changed. Suddenly, millions of kids around the world were watching highlight reels of Hot Sauce, The Professor, A.O., and Skip, pulling off the moves that weren't in any coaching manual. These weren't your dad's fundamentals. They were raw, uncut, electric. And One wasn't just a brand, it was a movement. And dribbling wasn't just a technique, it was rebellion. It was freedom of expression in its purest form. No coach yelling at you to stick to the offense. No scouts telling you your handle was too fancy. Just you, your imagination, and a ball. This revolution didn't stay on the blacktop. It inflated gyms, AAU circuits, college courts, and eventually, the NBA. When Skip to My Lou made it to the league, it wasn't just a personal milestone. It was a cultural moment. For the first time, a pure street baller had crossed over, literally and metaphorically, into the pros. And with him, he brought a message. There was more than one way to play the game. By the late 90s, the foundation had been laid. Streetball had gone viral. The handle was now recognized as a weapon. But then came Allen Iverson, and he turned that weapon into a nuclear option. Allen Iverson wasn't the first to use the crossover, but no one had ever used it like him. He was 6 feet tall on a good day, barely 165 pounds, in a league full of 7-footers and elite athletes. Iverson looked like the odd one out, but when he had the ball in his hands, he was unguardable, and nothing proved that more than the move. was March 1997, rookie Iverson versus prime Michael Jordan. One hesitation, one crossover, one moment, and MJ, the best defender in the game, was left reaching. Iverson pulled up and hit the jumper like it was nothing. The crowd erupted, the league took notice, the world paused. This wasn't just a highlight, it was a declaration. That the handle wasn't just about style anymore, it was about dominance. Iverson brought the ghetto to the game, unapologetically. The braids, the tattoos, the sleeves, the attitude, and at the center of it all, his killer crossover. His dribble was different. It wasn't mechanical, it was musical. It had rhythm, bounce, soul. He'd lull defenders to sleep, then snap, explode past them in a blur. And every time he dropped someone, every time a defender stumbled or froze, it sent a message. I don't care how big you are, I'm not scared of you. Iverson wasn't just crossing up players, he was crossing up the system. He embodied the streetball spirit, but he made it prime time. He didn't just adjust to the NBA adjusted to him. And more than anything, Iverson made kids everywhere believe that handles could be enough, that you didn't need to be tall or big or even fundamentally sound in the traditional sense. You just needed a ball, a little space, and a move that could shake the world. Iverson's crossover became legend, but it wasn't the end of the story, because the generation that watched him, they weren't just inspired, they were ready to take it even further. If Iverson revolutionized the dribble, then Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry refined it to near perfection. Let's start with Kyrie. What Kyrie does with the ball borders on surreal. His dribble isn't just tight, it's surgical. The way he manipulates defenders with hesitation, spins, and misdirection is like watching a chess master 4 moves ahead. Every movement is precise, every fake feels real, every escape dribble feels like it's been rehearsed 1,000 times, but somehow still feels spontaneous. He doesn't just break ankles, he breaks physics. It's not just what he does with the ball, it's where he finishes. Under the rim, in traffic, surrounded by giants. But somehow, Kyrie always finds a way. Off the glass, reverse, scoop, floater. He's a wizard in a league full of warriors, and his dribble is his wand. But on the other side of the coin, Stephen Curry, the man who changed the geometry of basketball. Steph isn't flashy for the sake of it. He doesn't have the streetball swagger of Kyrie or the defiant energy of Iverson, but his handle, it's pure utility. Every dribble has a purpose. He's not trying to embarrass you, he's trying to manipulate space. A quick between the legs, a sidestep, a hesitation into a step back 3 from 30 feet. Defender is still recovering, and it's already cash. Curry's greatness isn't just his shooting, it's how he gets to his shot. He uses his dribble to move defenders like a puppeteer, shifting their balance, controlling the tempo, and creating just enough daylight to get his shot off. And once that shot goes up, you already know what happens next. Together, Kyrie and Steph represent a new era of dribbling. One is style, the other is strategy. One is artistry, the other is economy. One will dazzle you, the other will destroy you quietly. And what they've proven is this. In today's NBA, the handle is no longer just a tool for the little guy. It's the most important weapon in a guard's arsenal. In a game where spacing and pace dominate, the ability to create off the dribble on your own terms makes the difference between being good and being unguardable. But if Kyrie and Steph push the handle to new heights, the science behind their moves reveals something even more profound. That dribbling isn't just instinct, it's intelligence. At first glance, elite dribbling looks like magic, but behind every killer crossover, it's math. Behind every hesitation, it's psychology. And behind every highlight are hours of work no one sees. Let's break it down. Physics and footwork. Every elite ball handler understands one thing. Change of direction is nothing without change of pace. The human body reacts to rhythm, so when a dribbler breaks that rhythm, slows down, then accelerates, it freezes defenders. That's basic biomechanics. Combine that with precise foot placement and weight shifts, you got a defender leaning the wrong way before you even make your move. Crossover angles, pivot foot control, center of gravity, all of these play a role in whether a move works or gets stripped. Deception and decision making. Dribbling isn't about random movement, it's controlled misdirection. The best handlers read defenders like poker players at a table. Lean too far, you're getting blown by. Reach once, you're getting spun. Sag off, it's pull-up time. Great dribblers study body language. They manipulate hips, shoulders, eye contact, anything to sell a fake. It's not about being faster, it's about being smarter. That's what separates good from elite. Not just the move, but knowing when to use it. Neurotraining and repetition. Elite dribbling isn't a gift. It's a muscle memory built through brutal repetition. Players like Steph and Kyrie train their handles like musicians practice scales. 2-ball dribbles, reaction time drills with flashing lights, tennis ball catches while dribbling blindfolded, repetition breakdowns of a single move from 10 different angles. And it's not just for flash, it's for control. The more comfortable they are with the ball, the more options they have under pressure. Training also taps into neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and rewire. That's why elite guards can make split-second decisions mid-dribble. Their brains have processed thousands of possible outcomes before the defender even reacts. It's not instinct, it's programming. So, when you watch someone like Kyrie or Steph dance with the ball, know this: you're not just watching talent. You're watching physics, psychology, repetition, and creativity collide in real time. Dribbling is no longer just flair. It's science, it's strategic, and it's absolutely essential in the modern game. But what does it all add up to? What's the legacy of the handle? To understand that, we have to look at how the art of dribbling shaped generations, and why it still echoes from playgrounds to prime time. The handle isn't just a basketball move anymore. It becomes a language, spoken fluently across generations, cultures, and continents. From Bob Cousy's era, where a behind-the-back pass was revolutionary, to Allen Iverson, who turned the crossover into an act of rebellion, to Kyrie and Steph, who showed us just how limitless the craft can be. Dribbling has evolved from something you had to do, to something you get to do. But its impact goes beyond the hardware. For shorter players, the handle is the great equalizer. It's how a 6-foot guard dominates a game filled with 7-foot giants. It's how the overlooked find their place in the spotlight. Ball handling taught generations of kids that skill could beat size, that creativity could conquer athleticism, and that confidence built through thousands of lonely hours with the ball could echo in a packed arena. Dribbling isn't just technique, it's identity. From street ballers in Harlem to kids in Manila, Lagos, and Paris, the handle is a signature, a reflection of who you are. When you step on the court, your handle speaks for you before you say a word. It's rhythm, swagger, control. It's hip-hop, it's poetry, it's chaos, tamed. And every move you make adds to the story of those who came before you. Today, even big men are developing elite handles. Players like Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are blending power with finesse. Kids are growing up not just wanting to dunk, but to create. In an era where space and pace dominate, the handle has become the most essential skill in basketball. It's how you break presses, how you beat switches, how you get your own shot when nothing else is working. Every era has its legends. Every generation adds a new move. But the heartbeat stays the same. The dribble isn't just how the game is played, it's how it's felt. A single bounce can shake a defender, electrify a crowd, inspire a kid, and change the course of the game. This is more than basketball. This is the art of dribbling, and it's still being painted, one bounce at a time.